All right, so hello to everyone, and thanks for joining to our live event today. In this event, Christopher, or as we call them, Chris, will present the Ultima EA. We presented it to the community a while ago, about 2 or 3 months ago, but Chris has some fantastic updates about the program. That's the reason why we hold this live event, to go over all the updates and to see how the members can enjoy the access to the robot with profit share program or plan. Okay, so before we start, quick introduction for those of you who don't know Chris. We know each other several years now, follow each other's work, and I respect Chris and his team very much. The guys deliver amazing quality and value to the members. They are involved in different ways in the market. If it's with signals, the program he runs with the NAD, and if it is with the robot, Chris involved with Mislav. So I'm honored to be able and introduce him to the community, and I'm sure you would understand why after this meeting. There is a chat available to everybody here in Zoom, so feel free to write your questions there if you have any. I think Chris you will be able to see that by himself. If not, I will read it later. I also will publish you now the link in the chat. 1 second. I'll post the link. This is the link to the robot to get and learn more information about the plan and program that Chris will present. Last thing, to those of you who yes, Chris, thank you. I think this is the wrong link. Let me ask you. Yeah, that is the wrong link. Sorry. Ignore, guys, the link I just put. I think it's by mistake. 1 second. Okay, I will publish it later on. No worries. To all those of you who will watch this as a recording, then you will be able to access directly from the description and in the pinned comment. Okay, and now Chris, hop on. You should unmute yourself.
Hello everyone, thank you so much, Vladimir, for the lovely introduction. I just want to check if everyone can hear me properly, and then we're going to take a look.
Yep.
Of course, at Ultima EA. I will also share the screen, of course, so you can.
Yep, we can hear you well.
See the slides and the presentation and the FX book that we have prepared. Of course, the live results and backtesting. At the moment, I cannot share my screen, Vladimir. It says that the host disabled participant screen sharing. So maybe if you could check that, please. Now it's working, great. So let's get this sharing. There we go. And please confirm that you can also see the screen as well, besides my voice. That would be great. So yes, we're back. I'm happy to be back here for a second time with Vladimir regarding the Ultima EA, looking at account growth through an automated trading solution at no upfront costs this time around. Mislav Nikolic, the creator of the Ultima EA, and I myself, the co-supporter / creator, are happy to be here and explain what the Ultima EA is, expert advisor or automated trading system. First of all, we're going to get right to the good stuff with the live results, the back test. Then after that, we're going to dive into what the EA is and how to join. So some of you already have joined in the past. I think we had it end of February, so it's about 3 months ago. So some of this will be familiar to you if you did join. If not, then of course that's great that you're here. The difference here, basically, one of the main differences is, first of all, is that it's going to be at a profit share model rather than a rental fee. So that means that there are no upfront costs or fees, which makes it more accessible, of course, for more traders. You can trade with your own capital, and we basically gain a share when you make profits at the end of the month. So it's a very win-win, oriented cooperation in this regard. Okay, I'm going to explain more of that, but I just wanted to throw that in and explain that from the very beginning, that it's very accessible, I think, for a lot of traders, which we think, we think is a great benefit. Win-win is always good. Otherwise, of course, we got 3 more months of live trading results, so we can explain that too. The more results, the more live results, of course, we have, the more sturdier the performance is, and the more just it shows how the EA is being verified as we go along. All right, so if you could just quickly, indeed, still confirm, I didn't get any confirmation that you can see my screen. That would be great. If someone could just write the Y there. You should be seeing agenda now, showing Chris, Mislav at the bottom, and 4 points. Perfect. All right. So let's start right away with the live results. Okay. Now, what you're seeing here is a real account, US dollars, 500 to 1 leverage, because the Ultima EA has small losing streaks, which allows us to actually trade it with 5% risk per setup and still have a drawdown that is within, let's say, what we think is acceptable. It's about 50%. Now, this account is actually trading for a full year now, and it's trading with less risk. It's 3% risk per setup, so it's like a medium approach. And you can see that within 1 year, it gained in real trading 473%. Just in case you're wondering where it's, the left top up corner, it's in green, plus 473 right here where I have my cursor. Okay. So the drawdown is just a little bit below 20% there. As you can see, we started with 10K deposits, and the profit is now $47,000. And therefore our balance at this moment, obviously 47 plus 10 is 57,000. So this is basically the equity curve, as you can see, in that year. The purple lines mark the moment we had the webinar with Vladimir last time around. And as you can see, we've went up. We went up pretty well, about 148% more end of February. But there was at times some drawdown. We recovered recently a little bit here, as you can see, to the upside. Those drawdowns are a normal part of trading and are to be expected. We also had moments where where the equity curve went a little bit sideways. That's why we always emphasize that this EA is not about hitting some daily goal, hitting a weekly or monthly goal, or even a quarterly goal. What we emphasize is that the results should be analyzed, evaluated 6 months at the minimum. We prefer a year, because the EA is all about long-term profitability and trying to maximize that profitability in the long run. So that's why we accept drawdowns, and that's why we accept also months that are slower, weeks that are slower, etc. Okay, so this equity curve is something we're proud of, but you got to keep in mind that it's easier to look at afterwards, right? So we always we're honest to traders and say, look, you got to be patient. You have to, if you try this, trade it with risk capital that you can afford to lose, as always. And also just let it run for a few months and don't worry about each and every trade, because this is the best. Mislav did 14,000 different variations, and this was the best approach that we found. So it doesn't make sense to think about what if the EA would have done that, because if you start to interrupt one trade for short-term benefit, you kind of undermine that long-term performance. So we always focus on that long-term performance. Okay. Now, You can see here below the equity count. This curve here is when we had the last time the webinar. Okay, so this is where we stopped, and this is how it continued nicely, continued to the upside, then had a small sideways move, continued up, small drawdown, and then continued higher. All right, this is my personal Eurodollar 15-minute account. As you can see, it's up 704. The peak was at almost 820. And it has a similar curve as the 3% risk. The only difference is that the drawdown is more because I'm trading this with 5% risk per setup. And once again, I am comfortable doing that because the losing streaks generally are quite small with Ultima. That allows me actually to trade it with such a high risk. And here you can see at the bottom, the situation end of February, once again, when we had the live webinar with Vladimir, it was at 463, all right? And that you can see the continuation after that, the last 3 months, what happened since then. So this is 10 months old at this moment, whereas the previous one is 12 months, is a year now. We're celebrating 1 year, okay? Now you can see from a month-to-month perspective how my account handled. I started at the beginning of August. As you can see, it was a nice August with 85%, right? Very happy with that. September, 21%. October 2019 was minus 12. November was minus 22. December plus 14. Then this year, January plus 16. February was a whopping and impressive, amazing plus 217%. That was just, just hitting it out of the park. March, break even. April plus 8. And so far, May plus 15. That has changed a little bit in the meantime because we did have a loss, and now there's an open trade that is in positive territory. So that, we have to see how that ends up. Still, May is still ongoing, but at the time of this screenshot, it was plus 15. Okay, so as you can see, looking at it from a month-to-month perspective, we had most months, I would say, positive, right? About 3 out of 4. But yes, sometimes we have a month that is negative, right? And sometimes we have a quarter where, it just doesn't go and it's going sideways. For instance, October, November, December. So patience is needed. But if you are patient enough, as you can see, to wait 6 months here or 10 months, you can see how it all accumulated to a very, very nice profit. 85 plus 21 plus 16, 8, 21, 217. It's of course adds up to more than 400%. So Mislav is adding, by the way, that the current open trades are at plus 18% for information. So those that did rent it, by the way, at the end of February, we had a rental option for the EA. That could vary depending on what they trade, what currency pairs and time frames and risks they choose, of course. But we know we do follow one trader, and it's up about 20% since that moment. And that's a lot considering the fact, if you look at the Eurodollar, when trading the Eurodollar, by the way, if you look at the Eurodollar chart, you will see that the last 2.5 months, this particular, or 2 months, this particular pair has been in a very, very big range, tight range. And before that, we had lots of massive volatility up and down. So those are very, let's say, hazardous conditions. And despite that, the EA is still up. It's still ahead. And that's quite amazing because the EA is a trending system. And trending systems normally get whacked, have big problems in ranges, and actually lose in these periods. This EA is still managing to pull ahead despite that range. And it did wonderfully in February because of the trending environment. So that is the big benefit of this EA, is that it has great offense when there is a trend, but great defense when there isn't a trend. And you can see that in these stats. Let me show you the my FX book live now. Some of the accounts I didn't show yet. This is the one I showed. So let's move on to, this is one of the traders that started actually around beginning of March, one of the EA renters. Let me see if you can see that. This is all Eurodollar, by the way. Okay. Just in case I misspoke, it's all Eurodollar 15-minute chart I'm talking about now. Okay. let me see if you can see the actual screen correctly now. I'm not sure if you're seeing my FX book. Do you see the my FX book link at this moment? It says you should see a graph in the middle showing, and then left plus 28%. All right, so pretty good gain, and that's all during the phase where the euro dollar is in a big range. So yeah, rentals, of course, mostly trade euro dollar, by the way, but they have the option of trading pound USD as well, for instance, and others if they want to. But we ourselves have the best results for the euro dollar, and that's why we always emphasize this pair. And with the profit share model, it will only be the euro dollar 50-minute chart because it has the best performance. All right, so do you see my FX book at this moment? This graph showing, basically it's been always in positive territory. It's always been above zero with this particular trader. And you can see that there was a little bit of drawdown and then a bounce back up again. As you can see, up 28. This is open 3 months. March was 13%, April a slight profit, and May at this moment a floating profit of 10%. Okay, so with some open trades going very well at this moment. So let's see what May end up with. Let's take a look at an account from Mislav, who has been trading it since August, this particular account, and is up 858. In fact, his peak moment, he crossed the magical 1,000% level. Yeah, it's all great stuff. Basically, you can see a little bit more about the stats. 188 trades in those 10 months, 2,500 pips, average win 42 pips, average loss 36 pips, and you can see more about the stats. Best trade 1,800, worst trade 780, minus 780. The win rate is 65%, so that is high for a breakout trending system. This is 5% risk per trade, by the way, I should mention, because all our strategies are 5% except the first one I showed. Okay, this is also 5%. Profit factor 1.78, and you can see here the equity curve pretty similar to the monthly gains, pretty similar to the ones I just showed you in the screenshots. Okay, and here we go, euro dollar. That's the one I already showed you in the presentation. All right, so if you have anything you would like to see specific from this, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to continue and dive into some of the details with regard to the EA. All right. So traders themselves, impressed. Definitely, of course, those that have joined us or have seen February with the 217, but also traders that have joined later are impressed as well. Even, let's say, even that the profit is less, right? 20%, of course, is a lot less than plus 200, but they're still impressed because of the fact that they see the range, they see how the market is behaving, they see how choppy the price is, and they're impressed that despite the market volatility and wild price action that occurred in March, the EA did not get hammered. The EA strategically stayed aside when the volatility was overboard and it was really, really high and too high, and then saw some nice gains still, some modest gains, but nice gains still after that period. So some praise here from traders, as you can read. So let me dive into, now that I discussed the live results, which I think are always is a good starting spot, some of the basics, and you can also read more about the FPA reviews, of course, by going to FPA. You can check out more. Ultima EA basics, just to give you a bit idea about what the system is all about. So it is an automated trading system. That means that no manual intervention is needed and possible, right? There's no such thing, which is great. That allows it to be traded by everyone who feels comfortable with trading Forex with high leverage and that particular higher risk per trade, and is comfortable with accepting drawdowns. Okay, so but it's not dependent on your time, and there's no decisions needed by yourself. So that is, of course, comfortable and makes it a lot more accessible and easier. It is a trending system that uses price swings. Okay. And we always have a stop loss and take profit. There's about one setup per day average. Okay. And basically, it is not a system that is, you see these funny systems where there are like tons of trades going back and forth in one day. This is not what Mislav has created. It is a sturdy, actual system that is trying to capitalize on the trend and is using, good mechanisms that are not some strange, fantasy, strange systems that are trying to just cheat the system or cheat the performance, right? There's no hedging, no martingales, no pyramiding. This is a robust, sturdy system strategy that tries to trade the market on Forex, okay? Now, backtesting, I will also want to show, it's important because it has been backtested. Mislav went back more than a decade and years and years and years of testing. Now, of course, testing is not everything. That's why we start with live trading. But for me, it helps my confidence when I'm investing my own money. And I invested 25,000 euros of my own money in trading this. So we're trading, and we also have Mislav traded also with the money, and we have another account that we traded as a group with $10,000. So it's our own money on the line that we put. And that made me more confident to trade it with such sums because the backtesting gives a lot of data, gives it more robust, shows how robust it is really. And that allowed me to have that confidence to trade it. So this is 4 different risk per setup: 5%, 3%, 1%, and 0.5%. With the profit share model, all your dollar, once again, a 50-minute chart, because once again, that's where we got the most and best performance, okay? So 5 and 3% are, 5% will be the standard option for those that are joining the profit share model. And there is an option for bigger capital, traders with bigger capital that can afford that to trade with 3%. We'll share the details later on. But you can see the backtest results. This is your dollar backtesting from June 2017 to the end of 2019 for 2.5 years of testing. Okay. Let me check if I missed any questions besides the one here. Yeah, so this is a very, very big number, specifically with the 5% risk. It almost is difficult to digest, but basically, and we got some criticism for this, but it is the truth. When you backtest this with $1,000 and you just leave the money there, you don't touch it, it did cross $1 million. I'm sorry, I'm always feel embarrassed to say it, but that actually happened. Now, would you keep that money there, or would you take some profit? A lot of people would take some profit, right? But it just shows you what kind of performance is possible in the long run. Then that's what we're focused on here. And this is the gain, the drawdown in the number of pips. Now, the drawdown goes down, of course, with the lower percentage. Of course, the gain also goes down. So you got to keep in mind that this is high risk, high reward approach. So always choose a capital level that you feel comfortable with if you do choose to join, that you feel comfortable with accepting drawdowns and accepting periods where maybe the account is going sideways, okay? And if you choose a capital that you feel comfortable with, then you shouldn't feel too nervous or shouldn't feel nervous at all then when looking at the performance over 6 to 12 months, okay? So let's see if I missed anything. I actually would like to show the performance of the historical results actually of this 5%. But basically what you would see, let me open up that in the meantime. I'll continue with the presentation as we go along, but I would like to show you also the results actually per month when backtesting. So I'm going to look that up. I didn't have it ready, but I will do that now. In the meantime, the process of the backtesting is important as well. So it's done with 99.9% modeling accuracy, not 90%, which is a huge difference, because with 90%, you just don't have that accuracy. With 99.9%, it is actually testing in a way that the system would have reacted in real life. So it is actually replicating what it would have done in real reality, okay? Real variable spread. So this is high quality testing. It is not some mediocre way of testing. This is highest possible testing on MT4. And we use Dukascopy for 1 hour testing and Opari for 50-minute testing. And as I said, very, very long and lengthy backtesting, more than 10 years and a couple of years for 15, which is a lot for the 50-minute chart because, of course, there are 4 times as many candles in the same period as the hourly, obviously 4 times 50, okay? I got, in the meantime, the backtesting, and I will show you from 2017, okay? The results. I lost my chat box here in the meantime, but let me get that back. So you can see here, I'll give you some time to adjust that. This is 2017, June to December. And you can see that all months were positive. September, granted, it was a break even, let's say. So July and December, maybe one could consider a small profit, 5 and 9%. But other months, very hefty profit, 22, 39, 82, and 63. But not all months are like that. Let's take a look at 2018, where you can see, again, some months minus, so you've got to be aware of that. But other months, fantastic. Look at that, 44, 50, 73, 69. So I would say 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4, excuse me, could be negative. Maybe, as you can see, 1 to 6 here were very substantial profit, 6 out of 12. And the other were kind of maybe break even or small profit, right? 2019, let's take a look at that. Okay, 2 months negative, 1 month break even. And one could consider maybe 2 months smaller profit, 12 and 7. But the others, all more than 20. And that's about 7 months, more than 20% here. And with the highest one being 157. Now we know in the meantime, of course, that 2020 even had a better month with 210, plus 210. So that's to give you some idea about the kind of expectation, the profile one could expect on a monthly basis, okay? So I wanted to share that with you. I thought that was important. Let me move on now to the presentation and see if I can get that chat box back because there we go, I got it back. Great. So, let's see if I missed any question, let me know. I did actually had the backtesting already here. I was more prepared than I thought. All right, this is the 5%. I actually have the overview here. We just went through that, so I won't bore you again. But you can see the equity curve here crossing the 120,000%. This is 3% risk. It's 1-0 less of gain and 20% less drawdown. Otherwise, the equity curve looks pretty similar and the same. 1%, and I will skip but you can see how low the drawdown is with 1%, 14%. But it's only available really for very high capital, so it doesn't really make sense to discuss at this moment. Your $1,000 account, 99.9% modeling accuracy. You can see here the details if you like. 493 trades, profit factor 1.81, and you can see here consecutive losses 6, consecutive wins 17. Some more details about that. All right, this is a 10,000 account, growing even further to a jaw drop being 3 million. All right, but once again, you know, this is, of course, if one doesn't take any profit along the way, and that certainly would be normal for many traders, of course, and including ourselves, by the way. Also, the pound dollar, but you know, this is just to show that other accounts and other types of time frames are also working, just to so that you know that it's not only that time frame, but we focus on the euro dollar 15-minute chart with the profit sharing because it has by far the most profit potential. Okay, but this is just to show you that all other time frames and combinations are also good. So a little bit more about the strategy. It is trend breakout pullback continuation approach, but it has some great aspects that I love. It uses Fibonacci and swings. I'm a big fan of that, as maybe some traders that know my work know about me. It's a lovely and Mislav integrated, great way of using fibs and swings for understanding the position of price versus basically if it's overextended in the trend or not, for targeting and for special filtering. Basically, lovely work there. Stealth orders and dynamic trade management, which I think is great because basically it's not a static approach. It depends when price is then developing and there are different swings being built. The EA will adapt to those swings and move the stop loss and the TP accordingly. Okay, specifically the TP, I think is a very important aspect of that. Regarding, by the way, because we have many traders that are asking about the trail stop loss, it does have some type of trail stop loss, but it's a very loose one. It's not always used, and that's because we basically are looking for long-term profitability, and in the backtesting we saw that is the most profitable approach. So we are not basically using a tight approach where we're trying to use a trail stop loss that kind of cuts the trade short. Rather, let the trade run and let it try to hit the absolute kind of max target that we have, or the target that it actually has according to the rules. And in some cases, the target is getting changed to a closer level depending on the price swings that develop. And that's the lovely part of that dynamic trade management. So rather than actually using a trail stop loss that is too tight, it actually changes at times the TP, which is a really smart approach with this strategy. Okay, so some great special filters as well to avoid get good entries, considering the fact that there's a breakout of the trend system. A win percentage of 65% is actually very high. I've traded breakout strategies that had far worse win percentages, way down into 30%, in fact. So it's quite special to get a win percentage that high with a breakout trending strategy. Here you have some examples for those that are more into the strategy part besides the results. You can see how basically it's trying to capture the trend here and how the signals arrive as price is going and continuing with the trend. All right, we're not going to dive into all the rules of the strategy, but we do want to give some idea about how the strategy works so that you have, well, we think it's fair that you have some kind of idea that it's not totally a black box. But we're not going to dive into all the rules because it is a proprietary approach and system. All right, so here you have upside examples. And you can see how the buy signals occur after a trend is confirmed, a pullback has occurred, and price is continuing with that trend. Here you can see a lovely example. R2R stands for reward to risk. So that means that in this particular case, the target was actually, or the win was 3.5 times as big as what we were risking. So I'm not sure what the stop loss was here. It looks like 41 pips. Or 38. 38 pips on the lower trade, 38, and the profit was about more than about 80, I think. So yeah, great R2R ratios here. This is a period of about, I would say, 3 weeks, plus minus. You can see some of the buys and sells. It was quite an active week, I guess. Let me check how many, about 11 trades, I think, quickly counted. Maybe it was more, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 trades actually in about probably 2 weeks, as you can see. About one a day on average. But when I say one a day on average, keep in mind, of course, that there could be more on one day and 0 on another day. Just because the average is 1 doesn't mean that there will be one trade every day. There are going to be times where there might be 4 days in a row that have 2 trades, and then 5 days in a row with nothing. So just keep that in mind. Okay, there will be some variation, of course, in that. Now, I'm going to dive into what the profit share model is now. Just for those that are maybe impatient and you want to start right away, this is the link already, so that you're aware where you can start and how to start, so that you have that information right away. Now, regarding the information about the profit share, it is using a high water mark method. So it's basically calculated on a monthly basis. So the month ends, right? So in this case, the 1st of June arrives, and we look at May. What was the account? Your account was, let's say someone's account was 10,000 the 1st of May, and it's 12,000 the 31st of May, right? So 12 minus 10,000 is 2,000, okay? So that is the profit, and that is what we're calculating. But then for next month, the account has to go above 12,000. Otherwise, we're not calculating any profit share. So that's the high watermark method. Therefore, if the account goes from 12 to 11,000, the month after that, you don't have to pay unless you cross that 12,000, right? There's no profit share unless you cross the 12,000. That means that it's a fair system, so that you're not paying for profit you already had, right? So only with a new equity, high equity peak, is there a profit share. So that's the most fair way for everyone, and this is done on a monthly basis. There are no management fees or withdrawal or deposit fees from our side, at least, and no management fees as well. This is very important, I think, because there are in this world with regard to managing capital is often such fees involved. Of course, when working with our partner broker, yes, there's going to be a spread, which you should be aware of, like always, of course, a commission, so that's just standard cost to that. There's nothing going to be all within, the standard kind of what you would expect with euro dollar, nothing outrageous there, just normal costs and fees with regard to the volume. And once again, this is not a high volume system. There's only one trade on average per day, but obviously there's the usual spread costs, of course, okay? And we earn when you earn. So this is as fair can be in that regard, okay? So we like this method. Monthly profit share, no upfront costs or fees, and it's a profit share model when there is profit. So a little bit more about the deposits. Well, 1,000 is the minimum. So if you don't feel comfortable with 1,000, then just wait and get to the moment that you do feel comfortable with 1,000. That is the minimum, okay? Now we do offer a better, let's say, a better percentage for those that have or invest, I should say, more capital, okay? So if you are able to do 2,500 up to 5, your profit share will decrease that you are sharing with us. This is the part you share with us, what you're seeing now. And if you're able to do 5,000, it goes down again. And if you're able to do 20,000, we can even discuss that personally, but it will be at least, of course, 35. Now, this is basically for those that have much bigger capital. They can also actually trade with less risk per setup, because of course, if you're trading with that kind of capital, you might want to have lower drawdown, and that's something that is logical. I think if you're trading with lower sums, you got to keep in mind that it's, you know, a higher risk approach is needed to build that capital to perhaps, of course, the potential at least to a decent sum, let's say. And always, of course, choose a risk capital that you can actually afford to lose. That's very important, right? But if one is trading with higher capital, then, you know, accepting a lower drawdown is something that we think is reasonable, and that's why we have also an option for that for those that are trading with higher capitals, like 100,000 or more, or even 500,000 or more. All right, so this is for those that have higher capital. For those that are lower capital, I'll go back to this so you can take a look. The profit share is going down, you know, as we continue up the list of deposits. Keep in mind that this is net deposits, so this is not when your account reaches 5K, because the EA is showing profitability. That doesn't count. It's about deposits, net deposits. So if you make a 5K deposit and then withdraw money the day later without any trades taking place, then you do drop from the 35% to the 40% scale. Okay, it's about net deposits versus withdrawals. You cannot deposit 5K, think that you're in the 35% bracket, remove the money, and stay in that bracket. Okay, just I think that's, I hope you see that that's fair. Of course, you got to stay in that. You got to keep that deposit there then to stay in that bracket. Okay, if you want to remove it, that's possible, but you will then, of course, go into the different profit share scale. So it's about net deposits, and it is not about the profit that the EA makes. So if you start with 1K and then the EA turns 1K into 5K, that doesn't count. It's about the net deposits. Okay. Now keep in mind that I mentioned the cost of spread, of course, and commissions, the overall cost of trading. Some of those rebates, just upfront here, do go to cover some of the costs of running the EA and the marketing, but it doesn't affect the performance. Okay, just full clarity here upfront to you right here, right now. Okay. And as I said, yeah, the strategy is not a volume-based strategy. It is a strategy based on rules that have a clear track record of profitability, both in live trading for a year and also in backtesting for several years. Yeah, the pound dollar is now, my account is actually about break even, maybe minus 0.3%, if I remember correctly. I can check that for you. Well, the pound USD 1 hour chart is slower, so it's not going to have, you know, 10 months with the pound USD is basically like 2 months with the euro dollar 50-minute chart. So it didn't have enough time really to shine in a way. And of course, generally speaking, the profitability is also slightly lower than the euro dollar 50-minute chart, although we did see 1,000 turn into 800,000 in 5 years, but it takes more time. All right. So how do you join? If you decide to give this a try, step 1 is go to the link. Right here, as you can see. Step 2, it's pretty easy, right? Because this is a automated trading system. So the only thing you need to do basically is open and verify an account through us. That's important. Through the partner broker that we have. And if you're not able to open an account with that partner broker, which for some of you is possible, depending on the country of residence that you are in. And if you're not able to open an account with our partner broker, reach out to us and we can agree on on something else. Okay, we're reasonable and we're flexible. So those are for traders that cannot open an account with our partner broker, unfortunately. For those that can, open and verify the account through our link so that we know that you're, that we can see you, okay? And fill in power of attorney, and then deposit the risk capital that you can afford to lose. And that's it, 3 steps. From that moment on, the EA is connected to, your account is connected to the EA, and when there's a trade, it will take a trade, and it will start trading from then on. There's nothing else that you need to do. And sit back and keep an eye on the results at times. And don't get too stressed from drawdowns and times where things are going not as fast. See this as a 6 to 12 month project. That's our advice. Okay. So, but the actual connecting is a very simple 3-step process. Once again, just go to the link here with Ultima EA Profit Share, Vladimir/ref/17. Open, verify the account, and fill in the power of attorney and deposit the risk capital. Okay. The trades should not be closed in any way manually, okay? Because this is the best approach when looking at 14,000 different ways of trading it. So it's best, in our view, to have faith in those stats on the long term. Okay, a lot of testing was done. Mislav even rented a supercomputer, so you can imagine just how intensive that was. Okay, so yes, full control over funds, because it's you just putting the capital on your own account. You have full access to your own account on that broker. Okay. You can stop at any time. That's up to you. It is a proven strategy with live trading and a lot of backtesting and high quality backtesting. It's automated, therefore no manual errors, and no monitoring needed from your side. It's a trend system and it behaves very well in ranges, and the last 2 months certainly showed that. Great offense, as I mentioned. Really some great reward to risk ratio there. Trades based on fibs and swing and fibs, not gibs, and a great defense as well. Flexible, dynamic trade management. So once again, this is the link to start. Some I'll keep it there. We have some FAQs prepared already from the past that you might find interesting. Of course, feel free to reach out if there are any questions that I haven't addressed yet. I am not good at multitasking, so reading and speaking is not a skill that I that I own, but I tried my best. I hope that Mislav, I see, was helping there with some of these questions. Great comment from Elias, I see, saying that the robot is great and that they can say that it's really good for the best choice for automatic EAs.
Chris.
Yes, Vladimir.
How are you doing? So first of all, thanks for the great presentation. I would just, if you don't mind, would like to add a few words. I would also like to thank everybody who managed to join in a short notice, and also to all those of you who will watch the recording. The link to the program shared with you in the chat, but also for those who will be watching the recording would be available in the description and the pinned comment. This is, you're currently with Ava. Now, I do want to give my feedback about Ava, as I also work with them in my brokers program for my own project. Very fair broker, very stable in the work, so pretty much straightforward. Not much to say. It's a regulated broker, and as Chris said, it might be not accepting some countries. There are solutions for that. contact Chris and the team directly. When we launched it end of February, and the previous webinar, I mean, right? We had this one and launched it to the YouTube channel 3 months ago or so, right?
Yes, correct. Exactly 3 months, or yeah, end of February, 3 months ago, indeed.
Your work is fantastic, guys, and you know, I told it at the beginning. I was very skeptical about that at the beginning, but the results and the work and the feedback speak for themselves. So well done for that. I really have not much to say. Keep it up. Keep it up, and let's hope that the EA will keep it up as well.
Yeah, indeed. Great. Thank you for those kind words.
And thank you very much for again for making it. I hope people, Ilya, thank you very much for your feedback before. I'm glad to see you find this EA also great as it looks. Guys, if you will have any questions, first of all, as I mentioned, this video is recorded and will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. So you can direct the questions there in the comments, and Chris or anyone else from the team would help and answer them. Or you can simply contact them directly, okay, and ask any questions that you have. And enjoy. This is a fantastic work, as fair as it can get. The profit share, especially the high watermark plan, speaks for itself. You gain, the team gains. Very, very simple. You don't, no one don't. So the motivation and the ambition is completely shared. It is as fair as it can get. I don't have much more to say. Chris, do you have anything you wanted to add, or?
Nothing else to add. I just showed here a slide that showed also the profitability of different pairs, just so that the viewers can see that it's also profitable under other combinations. But yeah, we focus on the Euro-dollar 15 because it performs by far the best.
How is your Euro-Yen going? I know you've been also exploring the Euro-Yen, right?
Yeah, Euro-Yen, also indeed Euro-Dollar 1 hour, Pound-Dollar hour, all showing or mostly profitabilities with some smaller break-evens or sometimes a small loss, but mostly profitable, as you can see. But Euro-Dollar 15 is definitely, yeah, it's the king, let's say. So with the best results.
So when they say the Euro-Dollar is more than 70% of all transactions in Forex, I guess it's thanks to you. All right, Chris and Mislav, I know he's also around. Nikita also. Thank you very much, guys, for your work. It's an honor to be able to present it to the community, and I hope people will see this benefit and understand why. And thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you much. Thank you very much, Vladimir, for the time and for that we can present this to your traders and audience and followers.
I wish you best, guys. Thank you very much for all who managed to join and to all those of you who managed to watch the recording. As I mentioned before, if there are any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. And that's all. Stay safe, be well, and see you around.